Britain's next generation of emergency service recruits, chosen from a pool of thousands. Rookies like firefighter Leanne, her dream job now a reality.
I've always seen firefighters as someone to look up to, and now I want to be a part of it.
And police special Becky, giving her time free to help keep her community safe.
It's all come together with the belt, the handcuffs. I do feel like a proper police officer now.
Julie's embarking on a new career as a paramedic at 53.
Age shouldn't hold you back. Just go for it.
They've survived months of intensive training.
Come on, let's move!
They've been tested to their limits.
Spray! Birdie, R-B. Stop panicking, don't worry.
All to realise their ultimate ambitions.
Come on!
It's been a long, hard road, but I've eventually got here and I'm incredibly happy that I did.
Join them for their first time on the front line. In today's programme, roadside rescue. Leanne's called on to cut a driver from a crash.
Ready, brace, move.
Busted by Becky.
The necessity for the arrest is just so we can prevent any loss or damage to any of the evidence.
Is the drug suspect a dealer as well as a user?
We've found a large bag of cannabis bush.
And an agonising wait for an ambulance.
OK, Neil, OK.
Julie needs expert help for a man with a suspected broken neck.
Patient's in severe pain.
Ready, steady, roll.
The West Midlands. Nearly 3 million residents, served by 1,600 firefighters. The latest recruit, 31-year-old Leanne Petts.
Come on, let's go!
When the fire service recently advertised vacancies, over 5,000 hopefuls applied.
If you go off track, that's when you will start to make errors.
Leanne was among the few successful ones.
Something I've always wanted to do. I've always seen firefighters as someone to look up to, and I think it's great what they do, and now I want to be a part of it.
She spent 8 weeks at the training academy.
Get to work, keep going, come on!
Where she learned the skills, techniques and discipline required.
Don't just stand there, get involved!
To become a top firefighter.
You give that enough thought, okay?
It's still hard to believe, but no, it's great. I'm so happy to get the job.
On the final day of training, it's traditional for recruits to show off their new skills to senior officers and to their relatives.
We've got families, we've got the chief there as well, so we want to make a good impression and show them what we've done.
It's excellent. We're really proud to see this group of people now showing the hours of training that they've already put in. It's the start of a journey for them to become professional firefighters.
Great, I want to do it again now.
Then the graduation ceremony. The culmination of so much study and training. A proud moment for Leanne.
Something I've always wanted to do, so it's emotional.
And her parents.
Starts me off already.
3 weeks on, and Leanne's new career is underway. She's stationed at Highgate, in the heart of Birmingham.
I've been looking forward to it for so long, and then suddenly I'm here. It's hard to believe.
As a stranger to the area, her crewmates are keen to show her around.
I don't know Birmingham very well at all, so I don't even know the city centre very well, let alone the outskirts. So it's good to be having a ride round.
The West Midlands Brigade responds to 14,000 emergency calls a year. That's 38 every day. And totally out of the blue, the latest comes in.
Here we go.
A 999 call reports a blaze in a block of flats. Leanne's guided tour will have to wait.
Look, you're the ground floor.
As with most shouts, the early information is vague.
Yeah, it's a flat fire. It's all we've really got at the moment.
Leanne needs a cool head. It's her first fire. As the crew arrive, the panicked tenant is on the ground floor.
Is your flat, man? Is your flat?
The firefighters need to prep their breathing apparatus and enter the flat before the flames spread. Leanne's been designated entry control officer. She must raise the alarm if her crewmate's air supply starts to run low.
We've got to record if they do go in and where they are. We have to record it with the entry control board and monitor what air they've got.
Their safety is in her hands.
Ben, go through the door. Kitchen's on the left.
Thanks to her training, Leanne slots into the role with ease.
Yeah, just wait.
Minutes later, Leanne's colleagues emerge. They've extinguished the fire, which had taken hold in the kitchen.
One of the problems with cooking oils. Basically, the occupant here thought he'd put the grill on, but actually put the oven on. He did the correct thing. He got out, he shut the kitchen door, shut the front door, and dialed 999.
It was a successful shout, with the new recruit playing her part.
It gave me a bit of practice about being engine control officer and what I need to gather up and take up, what equipment's take up there with me and what goes on, basically. So it was good. It was a good experience.
A good start, but much tougher challenges lie ahead. In Cheshire, another rookie is treading new ground. Police Special Becky Purcell has already caught burglars red-handed.
I'm sat in front of you, both that way I can see you.
And made her first arrests.
Save it for interview.
Now it's time to go on patrol at night. Becky works as a government contracts manager, but her taste for adventure means she longs for life beyond the office.
The opportunity to become a special was kind of right up my street. I've always been quite charity-minded. When I was younger, I spent time doing aid work abroad. I've always been quite involved in the local community. So the opportunity to become a special was something that kind of appealed to that side of my nature.
Specials give up 200 hours of their time each year. Hours spent helping keep their communities safe. Becky will spend tonight's hours on a late shift. She completed a 20-day training programme to qualify as a special, but from now on she's learning on the job.
Because I've been practising my handcuffing so much and I've got that down to a T, I really hope that I get an arrest tonight.
New specials are each assigned a constable tutor. Becky's mentor is PC Richard Whitehead. Tonight, he's on the hunt for a prolific housebreaker.
This burglar is targeting semi-detached dwellings around this time of night. We're breaking in through the back door and stealing jewellery. It's something that's crime, it's happening. It's important because victims are getting their houses broken into and we need to catch this chap. So we need to keep our eyes peeled.
Right on cue, the pair is called to action. There's a report of a burglary in progress.
We're going to cover any of the exit routes.
The location fits the pattern of recent break-ins.
We've had a burglary there this week, so we need to make haste.
Becky's response to emergency calls will be monitored closely during her 18-month probation period. But right now, she's barely 1 month in. As learning curves go, this is a steep one.
I'm keen to get there and get involved and start putting all my training into action. This is what I've signed up for.
It's at the end of that road.
But just as they approach the location, more news comes through. The officers aren't needed after all. Richard and Becky are stood down. The short-term adrenaline rush is over. As well as looking out for crime and disorder, night patrols are on the alert for road traffic offenders. In 2012, the latest year for which figures are available, 290 people were killed as a result of drink driving, a 25% increase on the previous year.
Car's pulled out, failed to indicate, not got any lights on.
Becky's just spotted a motorist who might be under the influence.
And it has pulled out from a pub car park. So we're quite interested in stopping this, I think it was a female driver.
The one sure way to find out if a driver's been drinking, a roadside test. It's a chance for Becky to learn a new skill.
Jump out.
Yep.
I've got the breath kit with us there. She'll be getting breathalyzed. Know how to do it?
Oops, I know roughly. You'll have to give me some guidance.
The reason why I pulled you over, because you've driven all the way from the pub with no lights on.
Despite her erratic handling of the car, the driver says she hasn't been drinking. Becky's going to establish if that's true.
Just step to the roadside for us. Because you've committed the moving traffic offence, my colleague is going to ask you to blow into the little tube. All right.
Becky has to do the test correctly. If a prosecution is to follow, the procedure must be legally sound.
Okay, so it's all set to go. I was going to ask you to take a long deep breath into that. Keep going until I say stop. Oh, wait, it's all right. Yep, stop there. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh.
Okay, absolutely zero. You've passed. So breath test came back absolutely zero, so no alcohol whatsoever. And we're quite happy that she's safely on her way.
The driver is free to leave.
Thank you.
Becky's performed her first breath test, and more new experiences lie just around the corner. West Midlands Ambulance Service employs 2,300 frontline staff. Julie Plant is one of the newest additions to that team. So far, she's treated a patient struggling to breathe and come to the aid of a seriously ill pensioner.
2, 3.
Her early shifts have all been hectic. Her latest will be no different. Julie's paramedic career began in autumn 2013, along with 46 other new recruits.
You should be able to manage a trauma patient using the equipment available.
At 53, she believed she was still young enough to retrain.
Complete change of career. I'm looking forward to actually becoming a paramedic, working out there on the road, taking the responsibility and just following through everything that I've been taught.
4 weeks later, Julie's about to put her newly acquired skills into practice. She's responding to a 999 call with her experienced mentor, Becky Price. It promises to be a tough start to a 12-hour shift.
At the moment, we know that it's a 45-year-old male.
When the paramedics arrive, they find that the caller lives in a tower block on the 10th floor.
Oh, goodness me, talk about a security door.
When they reach him, it's clear that the patient, Neil, is in pain and distress.
Hello, I'm Julie.
Coming back.
Can I just ask you when you had your fall?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Julie suspects the fall has caused a serious neck or spinal injury. Every day in Britain, 3 people are paralysed in this way.
Put my hands down the back. Is that painful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think we need to get a collar, okay?
The paramedics need to immobilise Neil's neck.
We're going to put a collar onto you. It's certainly not going to be that comfortable, but it's something we need to do. Okay, Neil. Okay, Neil. Okay.
But putting the protection in place is only their first challenge.
Are you okay to rest down then?
Next, they must get him to hospital, and that means moving him down 10 floors without endangering his neck or spine.
Just checking really what kind of angle we might need to get our patient at to remove him safely.
They need the help of a specialist unit. The Hazardous Area Response Team are experts in moving injured casualties.
Patient's in severe pain. We were just wondering if you could bring your special stretcher and help us over.
With the team en route, it's down to Julie to control Neil's pain before the difficult move. But there's a problem. She can't find a vein to administer intravenous pain relief.
You've got very difficult veins, okay, for whatever reason. You're certainly a challenge.
She needs to deliver the pain relief fast. A patient writhing in agony could injure himself further.
No, I'm really struggling on here.
Finally, Julie does find a viable vein in Neil's foot.
Okay, you're going to feel a sharp scratch coming up now, Neil, okay?
He can now get the pain relief he so desperately needs.
Well done, Neil.
The Hazardous Area Response Team has arrived.
Basically, we need to keep him immobilised and get him downstairs.
Yeah.
All its members are highly trained paramedics, skilled in using the latest equipment.
So basically we're going to roll you, but we're going to do all the work.
Ready, steady, roll.
That's it, Jack. The team straps Neil in securely. They have to move him down 10 floors.
Ready, steady, lift. Lovely.
The specialist kit means they can use the lift rather than trying to navigate the stairs.
Are you okay with if it got sliding?
See you there.
On the ground floor, Julie and Becky take over. They need to get their patient to hospital as quickly as possible.
It's a little bit bumpy, Neil. Well done.
Even with pain relief, this is not going to be a comfortable journey.
Right, slight bump coming up, Neil, okay?
Neil soon delivered to A&E. Julie took the clinical lead in this case, even though her partner's more experienced. It's the only way she will learn.
When you've got a mentor with you that's taken the responsibility, it's quite easy to just support that mentor. But when it's the other way around and you're expected to make the decisions, it's a huge responsibility.
They head back out. Their night shift has only just begun. In Birmingham, it's a new day for rookie firefighter Leanne. 3 weeks into the job, the novelty hasn't worn off.
I've got visions of everything falling out on me. It doesn't feel real now I'm here, even though I'm in the uniform, I'm at the station, and it is daunting and scary and exciting, and I love it. Does someone go there as well, or...? No, so I'll be right. I want to do well, and I don't want to let the other guys on the watch down, because I want to be the best I can be, really, and so I want to impress them.
Today's shift has barely begun when Leanne does get a chance to impress. It's 10:30 a.m. and her crew is called to a car crash. Less than a month ago, Leanne was being taught how to remove casualties from wrecked vehicles.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you wiggle your fingers at all?
But that was a training exercise. This is for real. The crash involves a hatchback that's left the road and is now straddling the curb. Inside is a female driver with spinal injuries. Outside, her worried husband can only watch as the crew plan how to cut her free. Leanne is asked to lead the rescue effort. The hydraulic cutters weigh over 20 kilos. The new recruit is lifting a third of her body weight. It takes just 12 minutes to cut away the roof. But before the crew can move the driver, a surgical board needs to be slid under her spine.
We're just going to put the board in now then. Any pain, let us know.
Again, Watch Commander Paul tells the rookie to take the lead.
Right, Dad, all the calls are on you, okay?
Right, are we feet free?
Oh, God,
yeah.
Failure to do this properly could cause serious injury to the driver.
Is it right down there? 2 inches. Ready, brace, move.
On the board now.
Clear.
Now the driver's been removed, she can be rushed to hospital.
Really still. They're just going to slide these boards out underneath you, alright?
The work of the fire service is done. Leanne and her bosses are satisfied with how she performed.
There's a million different scenarios going through your head, what you're going to see when you turn up. Your heart's going, your adrenaline's pumping. I'm sure I can improve a lot, but it's all about learning and training, really.
She doesn't stand back, she gets stuck in, which is always a good sign of her confidence. Really pleased, to be fair.
Leanne was worried she'd let everyone down, but today she proved she's a valuable member of the team.
I'm never going to take it for granted, that's one thing. I know there's a lot of people tried to get here, and feel really grateful that I am and I've made it, and just enjoy it now.
In Cheshire, Police Special Becky arrives for an early shift. She's about to take part in her first drugs raid, which will be led by her mentor, Richard Whitehead.
We've had information that there's a cannabis farm. There's a power cable basically going up the side of the shed in the rear garden.
The police have obtained a warrant to search the suspect's property.
Becky, if you find anything, lock him up. Fingers crossed we get a result.
A fortnight earlier, Becky made her first arrest, but stumbled over the words of the caution.
Don't say anything, but anything you do say may be taken as evidence and used against you, okay? Sorry, it may harm your defence if you don't mention when questioning something which you later rely on in court.
Had she not corrected herself, legal proceedings could have been jeopardised. Today, she's determined to do everything by the book and get her lines word perfect.
So if there is a farm, it's an arrest for the misuse of drugs.
You will arrest the chap for production of cannabis.
Right, okay, so it's that specific.
Yeah.
Once they reach the house, Richard sends 2 officers to cover the back. The suspect's about to get a surprise wake-up call. For Becky, there's no time for nerves.
I'm Stockton Police Station. Just come in, have a quick chat with you. Cheers, bud. Appreciate it. It's all right. We're here because of information that you're going to cannabis in the garden in the shed.
The suspect admits to using drugs.
You smoke a bit of weed, so if there's any other weed in the house, a bit personal, hand it over.
I'll go and get all my weed and whatever.
Okay, where is it?
It's upstairs.
Is it?
A quick search reveals cannabis and cocaine in his bedroom.
Is that everything in here?
Yeah, that's everything.
We'll get lads have a look round. We'll go downstairs. Becky?
With Class A and Class B drugs found, an arrest is justified. It's Becky's big moment.
We're going to arrest you for possession of the cannabis and the cocaine that's there, all right?
Yeah.
You've got the right to remain silent, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
Yeah.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. The necessity for your arrest is just so we can preserve the evidence, prevent any loss or damage to any of the evidence that exists. They're not too tight for you, are they?
No.
This time, her lines are spot on.
What I'm going to do is just stick a double lock on them. That just stops them going too tight.
A member of the public had tipped off the police about a possible cannabis farm in an outbuilding. They'd reported a power cable outside the shed. But it turns out to be just a piece of rope. And the outbuilding is clear of drugs.
No, I wouldn't say there's been anything in here. I certainly got rid of it all.
But back in the house, it's a different story.
What we've found in his bedroom is a large bag of cannabis bush. We've also found a set of scales and a mobile phone holder.
And that's not all.
There's some cash that we found as well, some banknotes, so we're going to take that down and have a little chat with him and understand where that money's come from and why he's got so much cash in his bedroom.
The cash and scales may indicate the suspect is dealing after all.
Time and date when you found it.
Yeah.
But he has an explanation for the money.
How many wages?
How much money's there, mate?
Yeah.
There isn't enough clear evidence of dealing to confiscate the cash. but enough drugs have been found to warrant a trip to the Nick for questioning.
Just follow Becky in.
Becky takes the lead in a formal interview under caution.
This one was found in your bedroom. Do you just want to explain what that one is for us?
That's dried cannabis leaves.
So dried cannabis leaves.
You know it's a drug.
Yeah.
You know it's illegal.
Then she learns how to take a suspect's prints.
You'll just do that.
Yeah.
Across, dead light. One movement, no back and twos.
It's been a day of firsts for Becky. First drug raid. First formal interview. First fingerprinting. The new special is learning fast.
She took control of it. It was nice to see that she's actually moved on rather than staying, what do we do next? She's progressed, and it's nice to see, and hopefully that'll keep going.
It's definitely interesting, and it's definitely enjoyable, and hopefully it's the start of a long and fun career in the specials, and a rewarding one as well.
In the West Midlands, it's just after 1 a.m. Julie and Becky's shift is drawing to a close.
I think we're all feeling tired now, aren't we?
But the paramedics need to stay alert. Another urgent call has just come through.
A 68-year-old female with a chest infection.
But this isn't any female pensioner. It's a patient who's already suffering from cancer, which means it's a critical case.
Hello. Is it Ethel? Tell me a bit about what's been going on, Ethel.
Well, I've got cancer, as you can see.
Yeah. Can I ask you where you've got cancer?
I've had it 5 times. I've had it in my breast, in my back, and my neck twice. I'm having treatment, and it's working.
Brilliant.
They said. But I was helping the old chap across the order, and I caught his cold.
Ethel's chemotherapy drugs have lowered her immune system, leaving her highly vulnerable to this infection.
And how long have you had the chest infection now?
About 4 days.
4 days.
It could lead to pneumonia, a leading cause of death among the elderly.
If I can just ask you to lean forward a bit.
The signs are worrying.
Can definitely hear crackles on both sides. You're feeling pretty rough, I imagine. Yeah.
14% of people hospitalised with pneumonia die from it.
I want you to stay comfortable, okay, because I can see you struggling a little bit.
Ethel urgently needs specialist treatment.
Just a couple of bumps, okay?
Within minutes, they reach the nearest A&E.
How was that journey, Ethel? All right?
Lovely driver.
We aim to please.
Thanks to Julie and Becky's swift actions, Ethel will soon get the care she needs. Julie's pleased with how their final call went.
We actually got her into a bed, handed her over, and it was a nice close to the day.
At the end of her first month as a fully fledged paramedic, Julie considers all her training as time and effort well spent.
It's been a long, hard road. Lots and lots of hours. Probably miss my family quite a bit. But I've eventually got here and I'm incredibly happy that I did. And I would recommend it to anyone. You know, age shouldn't hold you back. Just go for it.
The suspect Becky arrested during the raid was given a formal police caution for the possession of Class A drugs. Julie's patient Neil received extensive treatment in hospital and is now on the road to recovery. The car crash victim, Leanne Cut-Free, was rushed to hospital and given immediate care. And Ethel had an emergency blood transfusion. She spent a week in hospital before returning home. Next time, unstoppable force meets immovable object. Amber and her colleagues send in the dogs to help bust a suspected drug dealer.
Oh, couple of bags of white powder.
Yeah.
A 999, a mum in agony, and a bewildered baby. Can Sam detect what's wrong?
If you could score this 10 out of 10, what would you say this is?
It's about 9.
And potential disaster in the North Sea. Gary joins a life or death mission as a fishing boat sinks in freezing water.